Hi everyone, welcome to the stock market recap, February 7th today. And let's start with a sector review. Before we get started, this video is for information purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before investing. Okay, starting with the strongest sector, which was TAN. We had a few earnings in this name in the solar stocks. If it wasn't for those, it was actually a red day for TLT. You can see TLT under the underperformer list, and so we closed to the low of the day in TLT. So not a great look here in TLT. And if it wasn't for stocks like ENPH that reported and jumped, come on, ENPH. Yeah, you can see that 16% jump here. And so that is one of the contributing factors of why solar is up. Do I see a divergence? Well, so we can see on the RSI side that price is on kind of a similar level. You can see over here, RSI was lower than over here. So price is almost at the same level, but RSI is a bit higher. So you can say that there is a bit of a divergence here, which could mean that more folks are getting interested, more bulls are getting interested in picking this up. So you got to kind of keep this in mind as a possible interim low in TLT. Although the trend still, everything still points down in this group. But SMH was a close second, actually not a close second, 2% off, but a pretty good day for SMH here. You can see still above the 5-day, closing at the highs, and we had a bit of consolidation, but we didn't even have a break. It didn't even try to break that 5-week. It's just kind of hovering above it. And if we take a look at that 5-day, you can see a close. You know, we had some island reversal type thing going on here, and a false breakdown, and then it just picked back up and just guiding along with that 5-day from then on. So we still got to see a bit more to see if there's going to be a reversal, but so far trend is up in SMH. ITB is tight consolidation and is still in a sideways pattern, and yesterday we were looking at this and we were considering if this is a possible breakdown of ITB with DHI giving some bad earnings earlier, and we had this false break higher and then kind of a quick move lower. But so far it's holding in, and 50 days caught up to price. So if we want to have a check back here at the 98 level, the 50 days there to support it. So it would need, so far it's just a nice sideways consolidation, and this started in December, and it has been kind of a month and a half of consolidation. Now we have seen that after consolidations that it is possible for a breakdown, but we don't know yet. Price will have to confirm that. So far just sideways. XLK also having a decent day, hovering above that 5-day ever since we retook it. And green day for a lot of different sectors here in the stock market today. XLY looking decent here, with it now recovering above those moving averages. That was a good turnaround here. Some things to note: it didn't even get into that demand area and kind of picked up here. So it just seems the eagerness of buyers to get into consumer discretionary is a bit higher than what I would have expected. But maybe finding more value in these types of stocks right now, with the market having run up in other sectors already. So buyers seem eager in XLY and pushing it up. And we'll get to one of the stocks, Tesla, that performed decently today. So QQQ opening above that trend line here and closing above it. We still have some room to that 440 mark if it wants to run. It can still do that, but you can see we are at highs over here in QQQ. SPY is almost there. 499, 500 would be the mark. We're at 498, and you can see 3 days of consolidation, then a gap up above, and a nice run today. SPX touching that close to that 5,000. I think intraday we did touch or almost touch 5,000. So those whole numbers could start acting as resistance, and also there's going to be a lot of options sitting at that value. So just a word of caution on that 5,000 level for SPX for now, but trend is still up so far. The price is dictating that. Materials. Let's see what materials is doing. So we had this false breakdown in materials, and then a pick back up. We tried to close above that, but we couldn't. You know, I like that type of a scenario where there's a false breakdown and pick up, and you can see high volume as well. It just shows that there are buyers that really got interested in it, and there was a shakeout here of just some laggards and stuff, people who had been holding, maybe stopping out finally, and giving space for more bullish buyers to come through who will be doing more aggressive buying in this area. So I'm going to upgrade this to a yellow to keep it in watch, and a move above that 5-day here, and especially a close above that 5-day would be a good sign for the materials sector. XLF putting in a nice candle. It was hovering below that 5-day for a few days, but today closed strong and closed above that 5-day. So this could move to a VPOC that we've been looking at for a while. This is, I think, sitting at that 39.50 level, 39.58. So it is possible that it wants to take that out. So we are still about 40.4, about 0.4 away from that. This is a sector though, so it moves a little bit slower. So a little bit more room to run if XLF wants to, but it's getting there. So we can put an alert at the 39.50, somewhere around here. You got to start being a little bit cautious of XLF. And it's possible the way we got a closure close to the high is that we see continuation in the morning, and it could get us there tomorrow itself. XLI was very interesting. So this is the daily chart, and we had a gap up and run up from here. Now, you know, we can see that a few times this has happened in the past, and then a further breakdown. So it's at a very critical point here. XLI, do we just keep breaking out above, or do we break out and fall back? If you want to trade XLI, you could trade names in XLI as long as we stay above this trend line, the upper trend line. And now that we are above it, if we were approaching it from the bottom, I would have said to be cautious here and to use that as a point of selling. But now that we're above and price is above it, it should start acting as support. Now, if we look at the weekly, we've just grazed that surface. So you could allow, a little bit more time to see that weekly closure. Maybe next week comes in a similar candle like this. Hard to say. So you could have maybe starter positions that look for that breakout in XLI stocks, or you could be more patient and wait to see if there's a reversal coming through, which has come through the last 3 times that we have touched this trend line. MDY was interesting. Moving on to the daily chart, you can see that after kind of a tight consolidation, we do close with a hammer bar, and we more importantly, we were kind of hovering below that 5-day, and we were able to retake that today with the strength in a lot of different sectors. So that is a good sign for MDY. It's still looking decent. All right, we are at transportation. So transportation and this guy, industrials, look quite similar. So same type of moves here. We can see that transportation has gotten quite ahead here previously, and this was in Feb to March of 2021, where it really went, a lot higher above this trend line, retested it, and then tried moving higher again 2 or 3 times, failed, and then got back into the trend. So there's 2 ways to think about this. You could kind of start taking positions with support here, and if the support fails, then your position is stopped out. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is to give it more time and move over to the weekly chart and see how, we had weekly closures above this line, but the next week kind of negates it. So you could try to see how that next week closure looks like. If we have a closure above this level, then you can start to get more bullish. Otherwise, you stay on the sidelines. XME is metals and mining. So this, unlike materials, which was able to retake some of those moving averages and put that quick run up. So this is materials. You can see how false break, run up. Metals and mining was not able to do that. So break and then hovering below that 50-day, which is a danger zone. So I'm going to put a alert here to see if we have a possible breakdown in this name, which could give us maybe a 6-point move down to about the 51 level, the 200-day. So not looking like the best here, and this could now be downgraded to a red. Let's just, before we do that, check the weekly as well. So yeah, we are hovering below that weekly. The reason why we didn't mark it as red so far is we just wanted to see how that week closes. And you can see the kind of pattern that's developing here, downward trend, bear flag, further downward trend coming through in XME. So that's that. And XLC is communication services, putting in a decent week here above that 5-week, coming down to that to test that 5-day with that island reversal, a very strong one here in XLC. So a green sector so far. Let's just upgrade this to a green here above the 5-day and acting well. RSP we don't really look at, equally weighted. We'll see if there's a possible breakdown in SPX. Maybe we can get a better idea with the RSP, but for now, let's move forward. XLV continuing that breakout, now getting a little bit extended here. So let's see what that is. That is about 1% away from the 5-day. So you can see when it does get extended, it likes to kind of come back and test that 5-day. So it could see some consolidation in XLV, but so far still looking good. IJT is small cap growth, not really doing much, just hanging in there. Is that a possible double bottom here with it being supported by that 50-day? Not sure. It'll have to confirm and start to move above the 5-day and the 20-day to confirm that. But could be a double top here also, putting in that lower high. So not really an area to get super excited about right now, at least. XLE still holding above that. This is the daily, and still holding above those moving averages. So sideways again. For XLE, we have XRT, which was interesting today. It tried to break above. This is the retail ETF. It tried to break above those previous highs, but wasn't able to accomplish that. So we're just going to move that alert to right above today's highs and the highs from back here, which was 23rd Jan, to see if we can get a move higher in the retail sector. Utilities also being rate dependent, having not the best of days. USD CAD being supported by this anchored rewrap from this move of the lows, and also between this channel here, which has been kind of an area where buyers and sellers have previously fought. So we could see kind of a bit of fighting here before it decides which way to go. IYR is the real estate ETF. We had kind of a false breakdown and a move up. So, still good on that bull flag for IYR. XLP, this is consumer staples, just slowly chugging along. Not an area where you get a lot of hype from, but it is kind of holding. There was that false breakdown of the 5-day, and just hold. Today, I guess we closed a little bit below that 5-day, but just could be a sideways pattern here, consolidating that big move from 1st of February, which was on Monday. So we could just see it consolidate and continue in that direction, which is up for now. But you got to be cognizant of that we are in that red box where sellers have previously committed and brought it down. UUP above that 5-day, doing a check back from that big move up, the gap up. So we'll have to see how it moves tomorrow, if it holds that 10-day, holds the 5-day and moves up, or if it breaks down from there. IWM not putting the best of the days, so given that it was a pretty bullish day. It was, however, the good is that it was, however, able to hold that 50-day and maintain that. Now that it's getting tight, you can see the volume going down. This could kind of just have a strong move up and out. For that, the rates would have to adhere, which means the rates would have to go down. So we got to keep an eye on a possible. It's starting to get a bit tight in IWM, so could keep an eye out for a possible break up or a breakdown, whichever one it's going to be. It has a possibility of being a strong move because of this type of a pattern coming through. Medical devices still looking good. Nothing amazing going on in terms of breakout, but nothing bad going on either. Holding where it needs to and holding those moving averages as it approaches those previous highs, and that very sharp V-shaped recovery, bringing it back to where we were in July. So I'd like to see it start moving above here and making some progress. Regional banks basically holding some of the supports here. This one is the 20-day, but not the best look here since Powell spoke. It's kind of broken down, and it is on a little bit of a downtrend here, the KRE group, regional banks. And this could be thought of as an island reversal where they move down. So definitely not the best look here. I'm going to downgrade that to a red. TLT we talked about before. And just 2 or 3 more. IWC is microcaps, holding that 50-day and just consolidating that sideways for now. And IYZ telecommunications. So this was one group that we were looking at yesterday as a possible short. It did do well as a short today, down another 1.74%, brought it down to the 50-day. Now we got to see if it breaks some of that 50-day, consolidates, moves up. What does it do there? But definitely one of the weaker groups today. XBI, the anchored revamp from the top at the 94 level, still getting the best of it. We would need to see that closure, move and closure above that 89 level. 89.27 to be exact, to see where that can go. All right, hopefully that was helpful, and we won't do single stocks today, but a lot of things. I think I'm just gonna look at Tesla, because I promised that earlier. So for Tesla, what is an interesting development today was that we flattened out that 5-day, which was strongly moving, sloping down. We flattened that out and we closed above it. Yesterday was a bullish engulfing. Today was a close of the 5-day, and we have a divergence in RSI. Let me just zoom that. You can see how price went lower, RSI went higher. So bulls definitely committing here to see. I'm waiting to see how that takes place. But the first step would be to take it above that 192 level. I'm wondering if this is some sort of an island that's developing, and we would see kind of a gap up day and move up from there. That would be kind of a strong print. For Tesla, with a possible move up to that 220 level again for a retest of that downward trend line, and that channel, at which point we could then start looking at possible reshorting this, or base and break from that 220 level. Interesting. Definitely an interesting chart for me. All right, so hopefully that was helpful, and enjoy.